Welcome to the Inglorious Blasters podcast, a Star Wars Legion podcast talking anything and everything glorious or inglorious about the game. My name is Koray, and with me today is just Brendan. Also, I'm back. Hi, everybody.
I found Koray.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Koray.
Hi, I'm here. Life and stuff happens, so John and Brendan been carrying the torch for a little bit, so I appreciate their help. But I should be back. Should be back for a bit.
Yep, very happy Corey's back. Somehow we've misplaced John for this podcast, but
we have.
We'll eventually get the three
difficult.
amigos back together.
I'm being very difficult with my recording schedule at the moment, so thanks for sitting this one out for the time being, John.
Yeah, appreciated.
Much appreciated.
This way I get to talk to Koray.
Yay!
Yay!
So we got a good show for everyone today. We have NOVA Open Recap. Brendan went. I'm kind of jelly. I didn't get to go. I had to go be a groomsman at a wedding instead. Labor Day weekend's a packed weekend. What can I say? Everyone wants to do everything on that weekend. And then I played a couple games. Basically, what have I been up to? Have I even played Legion? I've definitely played more games than John. Moving along.
Shots fired.
All right, so before we start all that, let's talk about some upcoming tournament hype. So I'm going to hype my own tournament at Critical Hit Games. That is September 21st. Come check it out. There are signups on the Eventbrite, and there's like a Facebook link, there's an Eventbrite link, and then there's also a Longshanks link. So go ahead and check out that info. If you can't find it, you can ping us in the Inglorious Blasters Discord, or maybe even the main Star Wars Legion Discord. I know I did post it in there in the upcoming tournaments. So plenty of spots. Come check it out. Then we also have the St. Laurent Open, October 19th to the 20th. If you're in Canada. Yes, I remember things. Go check it out. 2-day tournament. And then 3 foot good fall brawl. That is a difficult one to say.
Mouthful every time.
October 12th. I believe signups are still active. I have not looked, but
I do not know.
Go check it out. It should be a great time. All right, so we can get into the meat and potatoes of the episode because Brandon went to Nova. He played a bunch of games.
I did.
I hope he's going to tell us how great he did.
I did not do great. Spoiler
I hope
alert.
he's going to tell us about how much fun he had.
I had a ton of fun.
Perfect.
So what I played was an Empire list, as is tradition, and it was 11 acts. I had Krennic with strict orders, improvised orders, and Electrobinocs, and I played both the Inquisitors. Fifth Brother had Saber Throw, Inquisitorious Training, and Into the Fray, and Seventh Sister had Burst of Speed, Inquisitorious Training, and Into the Fray. I had 2 Snowtroopers with the T7 Ion Snowtrooper, a Medical Droid and Recon Intel, 2 Stormtroopers with HH-12s, a Death Trooper with DTF-16 Comms Relay Recon Intel and the E11D config, and 3 Range Troopers with the T21A Range Trooper. So that's the suppression gun for 1,000 points. Going into the tournament, I thought this list would be a good kind of like a little bit of all comers. I had, a little bit of Pierce Melee with the Inquisitors. I had a lot of suppression I could put out. I had impact to deal with any armor. Long story short, this list did not do as well as I was hoping against certain things. I'll give a brief rundown of each of my games and what I learned from them. It's been a little over a week now since the games were played, so I don't remember as many details. I will say, all my games, I had a lot of fun. Even if they didn't quite go the way I was hoping sometimes. It was a fun list to play, honestly. I mean, I haven't played this many games with the Inquisitors before, so it was just fun to play them, and people were like, oh, you brought Inquisitors. And it was really fun using Inquisitorious Training to stop some Force powers every once in a while. So
Nice.
My first game, I played some guy named Kyle. He's notorious in these parts, and
It certainly is.
his list was very scary. It was droids and all red saves. Grievous, Super Tech, bunch of B2s, Magna Guard, BX. It was oof. What I learned from this game was I need to be better at playing the objectives. I definitely wasn't. As well as the fact that all that suppression in my list meant nothing aside to Grievous. I think I panicked Grievous on at least 2 or 3 of the turns for that game. So that was fun. Never ended up defeating him. I only defeated the BX squad in that game and lost quite a bit. We ended up playing Close the Pocket and Marked Targets. And Kyle had the Fortified advantage and I had the Cunning advantage. Kyle ended up winning 14-4, killing nearly half my army. And again, I said I only killed the BXs. So, tough match for round 1.
Happens.
Yep. I did not pair well for what I was playing. And he had so many more dice. This was also one of the 2 games where I will talk about just my poor luck with my defense dice. Both of my snowtroopers were one-shotted in this game before they could do any heals.
Ugh, that's not fun.
No, it was rough.
No.
So, yeah, that will come back to play for another game. So, for round 2, I got to have another fun game. This game, I got to play against James. And you have to give me a second here. I'm still trying to get used to checking out Longshanks and seeing all the details here. All right, James was playing Shadow Collective. He was playing a motley crew with Maul, 1 Mando with Rook Cast, 2 squads of Pikes, 2 squads of Black Suns, and 3 Swoops, I believe was the list.
Okay. Nice.
And he was a newer player. This was his first major tournament, so it was fun to play with him and help teach him some of the rules. Definitely had a blast playing. We ended up playing Bunker Assault and Sweep and Clear, and my advantage was Advanced Intel, and his was Fortified Position. This game went better for me. I was able to defeat 584 points of his army and lost only 359 for mine, and I ended up winning 11-8. So I definitely played the objective a little bit more. Learned my list a little bit better because, as I've said many times on the podcast, I don't usually play something before I bring it to a tournament. So
learn as you go style.
Yeah. So because I like trying something new all the time. So I think I figured out the order I wanted to play my command cards. Usually, there's always going to be exceptions, but I got a little bit better at placing. So had a blast. It was a real fun game. But then we moved right into Game 3. And Game 3, I think, was one of the most fun games I played all weekend. So Game 3, I played against Tom. And we played Bunker Assault and Surface Scan. Again, I got Cunning Deployment, and he had Advanced Intel. But Tom had a very, very interesting list. I need to open this up in a little bit more detail so I can find his list, because it was a smorgasbord of rebels. So he was playing, as I said, the rebels. It was 999 points. He was playing Commander Luke Skywalker with Jedi Mind Trick, Underworld Connections, Into the Fray, and Prepared Supplies. The Bad Batch, including Omega. Ewok Skirmishers. 3 Rebel Troopers with the Impact Gun and an extra guy in Recon Intel. 1 group of Fleet Troopers with the Scatter Gun and an extra guy. A Pathfinder squad with Bistan and prepared supplies, 2 Rebel commandos with recon intel, the land speeder with the R5 astromech, the rocket gunner, the outer rim speed jockey, and the Mark II medium blaster, and the speeder truck with unorthodox tactician and the heavy laser retrofit.
That is a whole bunch of stuff.
It's a whole bunch of stuff. And man, this was a fun game. Basically, we ended up kind of splitting our armies and had 2 pronged attacks going on. To one side, I had sent basically all of my range troopers and I think both Snows and Seventh Sister, and the rest of my army went the other way. To counter those units, he sent Luke, a couple of his Rebel Trooper squads, Bistan, and the Ewoks, and then all the other stuff on the other side. The way the buildings were set up, the bus really only had 2 choices to move, and couldn't really get into the middle of the table, so he picked one way. And we had a blast. I mean, we ended up having an epic showdown between Seventh Sister and Luke on a rooftop. I definitely snagged a picture of that, and I put that on our Instagram. And yeah, I just had stormtroopers just shooting, and the Death Troopers shooting into the Bad Batch a bunch. Fifth Brother was tied down by some fleet troopers. It was a lot of fun. Eventually got to the point where the fleets are gone, and the Bad Batch is down to just Hunter, and Fifth Brother is not anymore. And Luke and Seven Sisters duel was amazing because on the Son of Skywalker turn, right? Because that's the one where he gets to attack twice, Luke, right?
Yep. Yes.
I played
Is it the one pip?
No, deploy the garrison.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to... He had the option of either aiming, and then I got to attack Luke, and Luke was down to only like 2 health left. So I don't know if he wanted to take that risk.
Ooh, that's...
Right.
Yeah.
Or he could... and then he's got the double swing with the... standby can interrupt the double swing.
Yeah, so, it certainly can.
What ended up happening was he decided to take a dodge to help Luke survive the oncoming one swing. And Luke survives it down to 1 health on the swing from Sister. And then he does his double swing into Sister. And Sister survives that, I think, on 1 health. So, man, it was such a fun interaction.
Nice. Cool.
And then on Sister's actual activation, she finishes off Luke. But
yeah, I was hoping for that end.
Yeah, it was. Man, that was nice. That was a blast. So that's how I ended my day 1 at 2-1. Had a great time, and I was very tired. And so for Nova, I just drive home, even though it was about a little over an hour drive. So I just went home, and then I had to drive back in the morning the next day.
Yep.
So looking at round 4, I got paired against the very well-run Vader Dews, run by I apologize in advance if I mispronounce your name. Jonathan. He came up from, I can't remember if he said it was Chile or Argentina. So had a blast playing. He was running Vader Dews, and congrats to him. He ended up making the top 8 at Nova because I got murdered.
Yeah, I mean, Vader Dews is making a big run. Right now.
It was Commander Vader, and the Dews all had flamethrowers. I definitely misplayed this one real bad because he only sent 1 dewback down one side. I didn't quite understand the objective we played because we were playing Recover the Research, and it was my first time playing that one. So I didn't realize I could have earlier in the game double moved one of my Stormtrooper squads to be contesting a point one of his was getting, and we could have both been scoring that point. So I felt behind pretty quick on points. And his Vader got in and just started murdering my range troopers because all of my suppression meant nothing in the face of Darth Vader's infinite courage.
Yeah, and Compel and all that fun
and
stuff.
Compel, yep. I also misplayed. I didn't get Fifth Brother into the action soon enough. So it was just Sister trying to hold back Vader and two dewbacks.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't go very well. Additionally, the fact that one of the best cards to use in my list was Deploy the Garrison. But it means nothing when there's a dewback engaged with, because they are suppressive in melee. So you can just get rid of the standby.
Yeah.
So I never got the chance to play that.
Yeah.
It was tough. I will say the game looks on Longshanks a lot closer than it actually was. And that's because of some unlucky defense rolls on Jonathan's part for two of his dewbacks. I was rushing one of my snow troopers across to try and help out, and just, all right, cool. Here's a bunch of hits. Like, the dewback's got 3 health. Here's 4 hits, and the dewback dies.
Yeah, it's a little bad.
Just saves weren't happening. So I ended up losing this one 12-8. And again, the kill points look a lot closer than it actually felt at 483 to 395. So that was just because of a few terrible rolls. Again, another problem with this one was one of my snowtroopers died before I got to use the medic. So a lot of that going on. And so that was my 4th game. And for those keeping score at home, I've played 4 games against 4 different factions. We're counting the Shadow Collective as a faction here. So far, I've done the Separatists. I've played against Shadow Collective, Rebels, and then Empire. I got one more on the bingo card, Republic. Round 5, I get Republic.
Nice. The whole round table.
I hit it. It was amazing. I don't think I've ever had this at an event where a more than 3 round event where you don't play a repeat faction for the first 5 rounds.
Yeah, that's like a special occasion. Like that never happens.
Yeah, real
Shadow
special.
Collective is very, very low, and so is Rebels normally.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, so I was ecstatic when that happened. I went, yes, I've hit the bingo card. I'm just happy. I don't care which way this game ends up going. I'm just happy at this point. And I play a nice guy named Zaid. Zaid, definitely a younger guy. I think he was there with his dad or something. And he was playing, as I said, Republic, Anakin, Arcs, the Giant 5 squad, the whole shebang. Everybody's talking about this list.
Is it normal GAR or is it 501st?
I believe it was a 501st list.
Okay.
But let me double
Just wondering,
check here.
because if it's a bunch of Arcs, it's normally 501st.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because he had. He also had Rex in there. Yep, 501st. So Anakin with Push, Burst, Seize, Tenacity. Rex with Up Close and Personal, Jetpack, Recon Intel. 1 Clone Trooper with the Shotgun, Environmental Gear. Arcs with Clone Commander and Targeting Scopes. 3 Strike Teams. Another Arc with Clone Commander Targeting Scopes, Impact Grenades, 2 of those, and then 2 Clone Commandos with, the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So, this game went from great to terrible in all one turn. It was, I want to say the start of turn 3. I've got, at this point, Anakin down to 1 or 2 health. He hasn't even gotten engaged yet. And I've taken all of 1 wound between my 2 Inquisitors at this point. I win priority on the turn because I played Krennic's 1 pip, and I go with one of my shore troopers, and Anakin's gone. Following that, the dice abandoned me completely on defense. He's still got his 3 arcs all over in this same spot. And over the course of these 3 arcs, I lose Sister, I lose range troopers who were full health, I lose snow troopers, and then I think in another act, Brother goes down to 1 health.
Were these all... I'm hoping these are all at least 2 shots.
No.
They were all 1 shots?
Yes, aside from Sister already having taken 1 wound from a
right.
deflect off of an Anakin because she saber thrown at him.
What happened? Especially against the range trooper, because they have armor 1 and then cover saves, hopefully.
Well, that was in melee.
Oh, okay, sure.
The armor 1 helped a little, and then it would have been great if I had surge tokens. But no.
Brandon, that is some miserable luck.
Yes, all of these saves were terrible. Even like Sister. Sister didn't have a dodge. She had to roll like 7 dice. If I had had a dodge and she would have been surging to defense, she would have taken 1 wound. That's how many surges popped up.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Just all of a sudden, my defense dice decided, you know what? You wish you were clones and could share some surge tokens right now.
That's why Into the Fray is a good upgrade.
Yeah, but when you only have 1 surge token available to you on that Sister...
I know.
She didn't even have 1. They started outside range and they moved in to melee with her.
Man, arcs are busted.
It was rough. So after losing all those activations, his arcs were still mostly untouched, and he still had the majority of the rest of his army available. All he'd really lost was Anakin. My army didn't have the firepower. I was already down 2 of my range troopers. 1 of my snows, I think, was already gone. And then I'd lost Sister. Brother was down to 2 health because I healed 1 back onto him. It was just, no. It's not happening. Bad. So I forfeited. Well, I can see it. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not forfeit. It's
conceded. Not gave up, but I don't know.
Yeah,
you shook hands and you said good game.
Yep. Because I didn't see an out for me at that point. So we gave him the 900 points for a concession. I did end up killing the 277 points on his army because I think I took out 1 of his strike teams and Anakin. I think that's what it came down to.
Damn.
And he had 8 victory points to my 2. And we were playing, close the pocket and marked targets. So he was scoring all these extra points for killing the units that we'd marked for the secondary. It was just, it did not go well Anakin? For me. Yes. So I got the Anakin point. That was one of the 2 points I scored.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah. So it did not go great. But it was still fun. Great opponent. He was even so kind as to give me some nice printed cards after our game. So I got some nice printed, objective cards, and he gave me a set of all the Empire stuff too. That was all nice and printed.
Oh, cool!
Much better than what I had, which was just printed on paper and then laminated.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait for the official card stock. But
yeah,
that's awesome.
So I appreciate that, Zaid, if you end up listening. So thank you very much for that. Sorry I couldn't give you a better game. But
maybe the dice didn't.
Yeah, no. I try not to blame my dice for games. This is one of those rare instances where I feel like my strategy was sound this game. I had positioned things pretty well, and then the dice didn't even give me the average. Like,
if
50-50 is what you expect on some
If one unit got 1 shot and then the rest were average, I bet you it would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind 1 here and there. That's what's going to happen. It's a dice game. But when I experienced that for like 3 or 4 activations in a row, it was rough on my psyche.
I could. Yeah, it doesn't leave a good Good last game, I bet.
Yeah, so I could have played a round 6. I did not. I decided to drop. I was a little dejected after that game just because the dice abandoned me. Also, I was just tired. I wanted to go home. I also had a fantasy football draft later that night, and we had started round 5 a little late, so round 6 would have been even later, and then I would have been late to the draft. So
Priorities, man.
Yep, go home.
You got to have those shifting priorities, huh?
That's the one. Yeah,
that's the.
So, so I mean, I'd already hit the bingo card of every faction. I mean, I didn't want to replay a faction at that point and ruin the bingo card.
No, it's all good, man.
So, but no, I had a blast. I'm looking forward to it again next year. It was just a lot of fun, even though I didn't do as well as I was hoping. I learned a lot from this tournament, especially that I need to adjust my game to play the objective better. I need to make sure whatever list I have has more adaptability. Like, I feel like the list I brought was pretty adaptive, but it doesn't have that key piece or two. The Inquisitors are fun and they're good, but they just usually can't handle a Vader on their own. Maybe the two of them together could. I don't know. I didn't get to try that out. So, again, I misplayed that experience. And they didn't have to deal with Anakin. Anakin died to fires.
Right, just fires.
But
how was the HH-12s?
They didn't end up doing much for me. I didn't, aside from the AA5 and Landspeeder, I didn't run into armor.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna make like dewbacks. I mean, just incidental armor, nothing that had real armor to it.
Real like armor 5, yeah.
Yeah. So they ended up not doing much because they ended up having to do too much moving and.
That's
shooting.
what I was afraid of. Yeah.
So I think as much as they're and like if I had run into a Tempest Force triple ATST, they would have been MVPs.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But I didn't. And when they have to move and then shoot, the 5 white wasn't really doing much.
No.
So
it's weird because like I like HH-12s. I especially like that they're not cumbersome anymore.
They are still cumbersome. They just don't exhaust.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right. They don't require a recover in order to shoot it again. My bad. Yeah. My bad. I just don't know, because you can effectively hide armor turn 1 until your last few activations. I'm not sure how much shooting they're gonna do. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm like.
My thought process is going forward. Whatever impact I'm going to bring is going to be not tied to cumbersome, even if it just means I have more just impact 1 things floating around. I'm contemplating getting a Blizzard Force box just so I have more snowtroopers because I only have 2. Because snowtroopers real good. Between the critical 1 that their ion gun has, plus the ion, plus the impact 1, and they're steady. They can just keep doing things you need them to
slap recon intel on those bad boys.
Yeah, I did with mine. Most games they were getting a shot off on turn 1.
Yeah, yeah, they usually will.
So and the fact that you can just keep getting them where they need to go, or if you're a little bit more worried about them, you just have them hide behind cover, move out, take a shot, move back in.
Yeah.
Now that you've got Exemplar on your commanders, more than likely, they can have an aim available to them if you get the orders out.
Oh, right? Yeah. Exactly.
I think snow stocks are way up, whether you go with the Ion or the Flamer, because the Flamer's going to be useful. Just increasing your dice pool is immeasurable in the current Legion.
Yes. Big dice pool, real good.
Big dice. So the two main things I'm taking away are big dice pools, real good, and Pierce better than ever. They took away so much incidental Pierce with the updates on just commanders' guns and stuff. They made the guns better, but they took away the Pierce.
They took away Pierce. Pierce is more valid. I still don't know because the dice volume is there. I don't know. I go back and forth with this one.
Yeah, so it's got me looking at two types of different lists now. I was telling Corey before the cast, I will be bringing one of two to his event later this month. People will find out after that event, whichever one I brought. Because my thought process is just, dice and, a bunch of dice and Pierce available just to make sure I can take things down. And the other one is I'm going to make sure I have things that can hold objectives and are likely not to die in the current world, as well as helping me with just action economy. So,
right.
Two different ideas I got going on in my head, and surprising to most of the listeners on this cast, they are two different factions. So I might be playing a different faction depending on which strategy I go with.
Ooh boy, new Brendan, look out!
I will let everyone know it's not Republic.
He's just gonna play Empire. Let's just be real.
Probably, if I finish painting something, I will.
Nice. Well, good job at Nova, man. I'm glad you had a lot of fun and trying out new Legion in like an enormous amount of games at in one weekend.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
Only way I'm gonna learn more about this game is to play, and I really only get to play at tournaments, so this was huge. And just my understanding of the game and the fact that I got to play, 4 people I don't think I'd ever played before, and I got to play every faction. I definitely got to learn a lot that I'm still working on digesting, and I will try to better articulate in the future as we keep learning more. But considering we all know more changes are probably coming to the game,
right.
In another few months, I'm taking it all with a little bit of a grain of salt, because things could be drastically shifted in another 6 months or so.
Absolutely. I feel like anything could happen. So this is just like the first phase. So just learning new stuff.
Just having fun at this point, honestly. Just if you've got a crazy idea to play it. Because nobody knows if it's actually good or not.
Yes. Speaking of crazy ideas, do you have anything else to talk about? Because like I had some crazy ideas for some games I played.
I cannot wait, because it's usually me with the crazy ideas. I mean, I brought Inquisitors, so
I took off my my Koray competitive hat and I put on my Brendan let's have fun and do something wacky hat.
Yes.
So
I'm a force for good.
I'm still slightly a degenerate, but you'll see what I'm getting at. So I'll just go over a couple casual games that I played and I want to experiment more with, and I've gotten some like weird ideas. So first thing, one of the first games I did with New Legion is I played Blizzard Force. Normally you take bikes, people normally do 4. I said, nah, let's do 4 E-Webs.
Nice.
I finally painted up my E-Webs, the New Legion drop, and I was like, oh, this is perfect time. They have range 4. Let's do it. Finished up 4 E-Webs. So I did Blizzard Force, 4 of them, 2 Mega Snow Flamers, 1 ATSD, 2 HRUs, and then Veers. It was a lot of fun. So I think it was like 11 or 12 act. I don't remember anymore.
I'm trying to do the math in my head here. 4
I think I had one more
4.
naked. I had one more naked snow. So 4,
okay.
2.
So like 11.
Yeah, I had 11.
Okay.
It was great. I played against I played against one of my locals who's like fairly new. He bounces back and forth between a bunch of different miniature games as well as like Star Wars Unlimited. So like he picked up the game pretty quick, but but he's still new. That's all I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
He played Shadow Collective and he loves Mandos. And so that's his whole thing. He loves shoving as many Mandos in as possible. And we were all like, well, Shadow Collective is the faction for you, right? So you can get the most amount in there. So he played 4 of the Mandos and then Gar and then a smattering of other stuff. Stuff that didn't have many upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Along with a bus. So anyways, we played Breakthrough, which might not seem great for me. Because Breakthrough, you're supposed to get to the opponent's other side, their side, and like touch their POI, right?
Right.
Well, what I did was I parked 4 E-webs on one of my breakthrough points, and I said, because I prepared positions, and I said, okay, do you want to come this way? Let's go. Let's go. I dare you. And I also had the cunning deployment, so that means I got extra dodges. So
on 3 of them, yeah.
Three of my E-webs had 2 dodges, and one of them I only had 1.
Nice.
So the idea there is like, hey, if he wants to contest this POI, he's gonna have to work for it. Gonna have to work for it real hard. My E-webs threw, and I also had the barrage generator on them. They threw 3 crits every time, like no joke. Whether if it was with an aim or not. A little bit hot, but you know what? Like they also surged to crit, so I don't think it's that unlikely.
No.
Yeah. So I basically got like 5 hits, 5 either hit crit combinations on the regular. They were really good. So they held that point pretty well, and then like he started funneling towards there, which I don't know if it was right. I think he could have like went the other way to the other POI that's not on the board or not contested by 4 E-webs.
Sure.
But anyways, it was fun. We had a fun shooting match. And then hilariously, the ATST
2 more E-webs now.
Yeah, E-webs. I don't know if they're good, but I will say, if your opponent wants to shoot one of them, and they'll probably kill it, they're gonna have to face 3 other ones though, along with whatever else. So, being 63 points, you better like make sure you want to do that, because my other E-webs are gonna kill you.
Fair.
That's all I'm saying. Like I wouldn't discount it just yet. Prepare positions I think is not bad if you take it in mass. And I want to test that out some more. But anyways, yeah, the mega snow flamers, they were pretty good. Like they were fine. They tanked a bunch of shots, which is basically what I needed them to do, and just go rush the point. Along with the Blizzard Force 3 pip to go ahead and spur. It's really good. The ATSD was fine. Like hilariously, the E-webs and the snows were like the heavy lifting. Did the heavy lifting on this?
Sure.
So that was fun. And then another crazy idea I had was a return to one of my other favorite lists, and this I played it at my last Nova, which was Tempest Force, but oops, no ATSDs. So it was 6 bomb scouts, right? So the bomb upgrade or the weapon upgrade on the snows is different now, and it shucks 4 dice now. Blast and suppressive and some impact. I think it's impact 2. Range 1 and melee, which is sweet. Ideally, I'm just sitting at range 1 and not in melee with the scouts. So what I took was 6 of those, and then 3 superstorms. So like the extra dudes with T21s, and they had recon intel, and then 2 speeder bikes and 1 officer. So that's let's see, 4. That's 12 acts. 9, 11, yeah, 12 acts. Okay. Which is a pretty decent chunk.
Yeah.
I really like this list. This was a lot of fun. I played against my local Daryl. Daryl was on a bit of a hot streak, so I had to put him in his place. We were doing some smack talk in the Discord. It was pretty funny. So he was playing Anakin and a smattering of different Gar stuff. So he loves his ATRT, so he had 2 flamer ones and 1 laser one. A couple other things. He had Rex. That was his whole thing. He had Rex scouting party to get Anakin that much closer.
Right.
And stuff like that.
It's very common now to see.
Yes, absolutely. So my whole army has scout, and then one of my scout troopers has old rapid reinforcement, and we were playing recover the research. So like I found a corner that I could like rapid deploy into, where I'm not going to get shot. So then I can go contest on turn 2. So that was fun. And then, so the real thing I want to talk about here is dice luck was pretty big in this game. The first shot with the super T21 storms I think I got like 9 into an ATRT.
Wow.
And I just eviscerated it. It was just, I just eviscerated it. It was nuts. Armor 2 is real sad. And then Scouts got some really good hits. I also attached frag grenades onto a couple of them. Not all of them, but basically I gave them surge to crit. So it was like 10 dice. I think it's 10 dice. 10 dice surge to crit. That surge to crit was really helpful for the Scouts. And then the Scouts really impressed me with like some cover saves because they have low profile. Mm-hmm. So very frequently, like I think it was like at least 3 or 4 shots where he was trying to take like Z6 plink shots or just some other plink shots from like some other stuff where I'd have low profile. So I got to add a block for the cover and then I'd roll maybe 2. So I took 3 off and then like there'd be like maybe 1 hit left and then like I rolled that one off too. So I got some good cover saves and then some defense saves on the Scouts. So that was a little frustrating for him. I can only imagine. And then, so here's the real answer to the 5's shotgun mega squad. Oh. I'm going to tell everyone a little secret here, okay? If you want to beat that stupid squad, this is how you do it. What deals auto wound? There are 2 effects in the game that deal auto wounds that you can't roll against. Brendan, do you know them?
I can think of the Amban rifle and also choke.
True. I should have specified.
And hunters.
There are more in the game than I thought. I forgot.
And whistling birds. Anyways,
whistling birds does it. Man, there are a lot of stuff. You know what? There are a lot of answers to this this deadly menace known as the 5's Mega Squad. All right. Drive them out is insane.
You'll have to refresh
so that's
me on
the Tempest Force 1 pip, which when you end a movement half range of a squad, you're allowed to do a free roll using white defense dice, and on any paint, you just deal an auto wound to that unit. So 5's Mega Squad has, I'm blanking. Is it 9? Is it 9 dudes or 10 dudes?
It's
4 base plus
2 plus 5, so 11.
11. So yeah, I rolled 11 defense dice. I crushed 7 wounds into that squad, which was nuts.
Vader's Might would also work.
Vader's Might is the other one I was thinking.
I'm now thinking of everything.
Yeah, it was Vader's Might and Drive Them Out, which is what I was thinking of. This is exactly how you defeat this squad. This is, yes, white defense dice can be fickle, but if you throw 11 of them, that even if you get half, like let's say you get 5, you neuter that squad.
It becomes a regular squad,
but like it's a good amount. You cut them in half. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I was very impressed by this, and I'm going to be chasing that dragon for way too long.
I believe it.
Yeah. It's never going to be as good as it once was. Which is funny because every time I used it before New Legion, it never gave me anything. It gave me like maybe 1 wound. I was like, yay. Okay,
well,
cool.
that's because you're using your white dice more now.
That's true. I am. But Tempest Force, that was fun. I think that impressed me. We're gonna try that out more. I'm not sure about Bomb Scouts. With Gar Menace out there, I think snipers are pretty good. Probably. I just don't know. I just don't know if I want to just be shooting 2 black 5 times on turn 1. Because you only get the high velocity if you only use the sniper. Yeah.
I've taken a look at trying to create like a list with as many high velocity sniper rifles as I can.
Yeah.
And I never feel good about it.
No.
But going backwards a little bit, your talk about prepared positions.
Go on. I have a list for you too. Go on.
I decided to throw together a list idea where I maxed out prepared positions.
We might have the same list, but go on.
So I went with Officer with improvised and electro binocs.
3 E-Webs with Barrage Generator, 5 Shore Troopers with the T-21, 1 Shore Trooper with Gideon Hask, and then 6 mortars for 16 activations at 998 points.
Nice. Yeah, you and I went down the same rabbit hole. That's
right.
Another list that I want to try.
I do not have enough Shore Troopers or E-Webs for this.
Neither do I. Well, I have the E-Webs, but I would like just kind of proxy storms as shores, just because, right? That just would be easier.
I mean, if you want to start with, turn 1 with 15 dodges, go for it.
Yeah, I in fact do. It's basically like, hey, do you want to shoot something?
No,
go for it.
No, it's basically, hey.
It's like, I dare you, go for it.
It's basically, hey, do you miss Old Legion? Put all of your models on the table except your commander.
It's so silly. Man. All right, let me build this list really quick. I think there's something there.
I think there might
is it good?
be. I don't
know.
Well,
but like it's.
We hope to talk more on the next cast, but Crucible was this weekend, and there was a 21-act Rebel list that made top cut. So we would like to talk about it in the future, but we need to do a little bit more research before we start talking about that one. Because there might be something there with just, I'm going to just throw as many acts as I can, because with the changes to cover, I mean, just throwing decent dice is almost good enough.
Okay. It is. All right, you ready for this?
Okay.
So, 14 activations, Director Krennic with aggressive tactics. You got 6 Shores with T-21 Bs. You got 3 mortars. You got 3 E-Webs. You got 1 Imperial Death Trooper. The Death Troopers got DLT, Recon, and config for free. The E-Webs have Barrage Generator. Equal 1,000 points. I think so. I had a version of this where I have to find it later, but it also had Gideon, just to get extra orders out.
Mm-hmm.
I think aggressive tactics on this would be very annoying.
Yeah.
The mad scientist in me wants to try this out. I'm not sure it's good. It's also probably like way too good to bring to a casual night, though.
I mean, when else would you try it at a tournament or just a casual night?
I don't know. So all right, I want to hear from you guys. Does that type of like prepared positions list scare you, or really not at all? You guys can interact with us on our Discord. If you want to find like a link that's in the show notes, or ask a buddy. Maybe they'll invite you. Ask one of us. We're around. But yeah, I want to know if like this is like scary or not. I think it is. It looks silly.
Also, the most I can figure out for Empire is 20 acts.
20 is that with
2 officers,
Shores and mortars?
Yeah, 6 Shores, 6 mortars, 3 scouts, 3 E-Webs. None of them have upgrades, and it's currently at 986.
Solid. Solid. What I'm like salivating over is like the coordinated fire turn.
Yeah,
you're guaranteed to like you're guaranteed aims everywhere. It's so stupid. Man. Yeah, I think
there is something there for mass activations, just because a lot of the objectives are all about securing objectives. If you can just outnumber your opponent, you're going to get the points.
Right. If you have more numbers than your opponent, surely you're going to be great.
Yes, because the 21 Act Rebels, I saw that it was streamed. I just haven't got the chance to watch the game yet, so I want to be able to watch that, and then I might be able to talk to it a little bit more. Also, we know somebody who had got to play it twice at Crucible, so Graham, when you hear this, just know we might want to talk to you.
Oh, man. Well, anything else you want to chit chat about? That's all my mad scientist lists that I've been cooking up.
The only other thing I want to talk about, just because there was a lot of chat in the Discord and confusion about it, was the versatile keyword. This keyword hasn't changed, but it seems like some people were confused by it. It allows you to use the weapon while you are engaged outside of the melee. The example in our chat was Dinjarin's blaster that has the versatile keyword. Since it doesn't have the melee symbol, it can't be used in melee. But since he has Arsenal 2, he can attack in melee with one of his melee weapons, whatever that may be. And then he can use that pistol to shoot outside if you wanted to. Or if you have, the spear on him or his flame projector, you could mix and match any two weapons in the melee. But then you wouldn't be able to do the versatile shot outside because you've used your Arsenal 2.
Right.
So just wanted to make that clarification. Somebody said that clearly they misunderstood how it worked because of Dooku's 1 pip also gives Dooku versatile for his lightning, for his range attacks, which is usually his lightning. So somebody was thinking that it allowed the lightning to work in melee. That is not the case. It's still just a ranged attack. So somebody in their local group has been misplaying it. Since that there was a few people chiming in on that chat, I wanted to throw it out there. This is how it works. So again, we've got a whole rules channel. If people have questions about rules, happy to go in there and chime in.
Yeah.
If I don't know the answer immediately, trust me, I will go through the research and figure it out and give you the documentation.
You will recover the research.
I'm out.
Thank you, everybody. I'll be here all day. Okay, before I do any other awful Star Wars jokes,
Too late.
how about we land the ship? Or crash it. I've crashed it a long time ago.
Every episode's a crash landing.
Every episode's a crash. I hope for a safe landing, but it never happens.
I mean, when I fly, my least favorite part's landing. Because I feel like that's when the most likely things are going to go wrong.
Oh, I don't know if I want. I had the most awful flight experience from LAX to Baltimore.
Oh no! How bad was this?
This was bad. Sure, I'll tell it on the cast because it was really funny. For those of you that are sticking around, it might be triggering. We'll find out.
Oh no!
Anyways, so I brought the little one with us, and he was great compared to everyone else around us.
Oh wow!
The first 2 hours for the flight from hell, the dude. I'm gonna try and be brief as possible. So the dude behind us was snoring so loud. So imagine the loudest snore that you've ever heard, and then multiply that by 11.
Okay, so my college roommate.
Yeah. Everyone knows a loud snorer, right? So we were near the back of the plane, and everyone heard this like 15 rows up. People were like looking back, like asking, "What is that awful sound?" They try. The flight attendants gave us these awful earbuds to hopefully help dull the roar, but it did not work because those headsets are awful. Mm-hmm. They're like tiny earbuds that don't even fit in your ear.
Yep.
And then the lady next to me, as we were taking off, straight up vomited.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like, cool. And the little one's sleeping on me at this point. I'm like, oh, that's great. Great, thanks. None of it got on me, but it was still like nauseating to me. I was like, this is awful.
No, that would have made me.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people where if I hear it or see it, it's happening.
Yeah, it was bad. Oh, it was real bad. And then again, going back to the snoring, like after he finally woke up and he got in a fight with the dude behind him because like everyone was, we all internalized, yes, we really hate this guy for snoring. But the dude behind him, like, I think woke him up and,
just to end it.
Said some very, very choice, colorful words.
Oh,
and they went back and forth. Yeah. If you ever want to know the full story on this, it's definitely not safe for the podcast.
Oh, boy.
So if you catch me at a convention or something, ask me about my awful flights, my awful flight story. Be happy to tell it. Okay, anyways, now I'm really going to land the ship or crash it. Okay, anyways, we are the Inglorious Blasters. I'm Koray.
I'm Brendan. May your flights be much less, triggering than whatever Koray dealt with.
Stay glorious, everyone.